And welcome back. I apologize for cutting that duct tape a little bit short, but we have been waiting patiently for a series and we finally have one, and what a banger of a series as well here in the round of 16. We're getting into some NA versus LATAM action, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Babylon, we have the American Zurich player representing Apprentice Esports. It is Ukko. And spawning in the top left hand corner of Babylon, we have his opponents. We have the Brazilian TerraN player, currently teamless. It is TerraN. Oh, TerraN versus Ukko, Brazil versus America, NA versus LATAM. Let's go, Poppy, let's go. We did have the option. We did wait long enough for Smile versus Yanji to begin. That's another TVT going on, being covered by Horace in Spanish. But did I really want to jump into another TVT? I really want to cast another TVT. As I'm on my own, I was looking for something else, and Ukko versus TerraN did pop up. And this is one of the series that I was looking at fondly, very fondly, as, oh my god, we do have a gas first opener. Jesus Christ. I was expecting something very different here. To be fair, I haven't had the luxury of casting Ukko too often, but he's going for a gas pool hatch opener. Very aggressive start from Ukko. Meanwhile, across the map, TerraN is one of the stronger TerraN players in Latin America. You know, you've got your special, you've got your Kelazor, definitely. But TerraN was kind of taken under the wing of Kelazor, and he was undergoing some training. A lot of work was put into his play, and TerraN is so damn good. So damn good. But with this gas first opener, we are pulling out a gas immediately, so we're not seeing roaches or a Bane bust after this. We have a very fast link speed, and we're moving across the map here with these initial 4 lings. Very curious. With this, he's going to be skirting around the edge of the map. He's going to be looking to try and hit this CC and try and force a cancel here, as the Reaper is none the wiser. There was no SCV scout, so TerraN is unawares of the faster pool. Now he is. Reaper shows up. Oh, hatchery is still being made, so he knows that the hatchery was delayed, and the lings are about to rock up here to deal with this CC. There is one Marine at home, but one Marine is not enough. SV is pulled back immediately, so we do have that delay, but now with 2 Marines and with the pooling of the boys, TerraN can defend back at home. Across the map, we do see, oh, a delay on the 3rd hatchery of Ukko, so very nice moves from TerraN, able to delay that hatchery, keep Ukko on 2 bases, and Ukko responds with the Ling Flood. 10 lings are on the way here. Ukko has cut droning for the time being. He did drone up a little bit here at the natural, to be fair, and there we go. He's going back into droning, but he has an influx of lings zooming out across the map to deal with this Reaper and to expand and take that 3rd. Reaper is having a hard time. Meanwhile, the CC across the map finishes. The Marines get onto the other side of the wall as well. The Marines are safe. The CC is safe as well. Once the orbital has finished building, we can lift up and we can save this natural. That's exactly what we do. So Ukko is going to be able to keep TerraN here on 1 base for a little bit, but TerraN, oh, he's pulling a bit of a cure. This is a 3CC 2-1-1. This is not standard. Oh my, what is happening? Oh, we're in for a treat, Poppy. We're in for a treat. Okay. So we do have a 3CC 2-1-1 setup here. This is very economic. This does hit a little bit later than a regular 2-1-1. It hits a little bit weaker as well because it takes longer to actually get our medevacs out, to actually have a presence on the map. So very interesting opener here from TerraN. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Ukko is looking to try and recover economically, drone up, and make up for some of his earlier losses. 3rd hatchery has finally finished up. We do see creeping spread. Everything's looking pretty normal from the side of Ukko. He's just trying to drone as much as he can and resaturate his gas, but he hasn't been able to scout. Oh, never mind. Looking at the vision, his Ling did see the 2 Raxes, so he's aware of the 3CC 2-1-1, especially because he saw Hellions being produced. So that is going to be a little bit of a tell here. I'm curious as to what the response from Ukko is going to be. He's going to be going for a faster Baneling nest here, as it is already on the way. So very safe play from Ukko. He can, of course, turn this on its head and be aggressive with Ling Bane. We'll see what he's going to be doing with this tech, as there we go. 4th hatchery is on the way. Queens are just looking to repel these Hellions and to spread as much creep as they can. But, ooh, the Queens are out of position. They're off creep. Oh, for a moment. TerraN does threaten that mineral line. Does force Ukko to pull the boys, at least for a moment. Oh. Meanwhile, across the map, we do see the 3rd CC being taken. Double drop going to be moving out across the map as well. TerraN being quite active here. Again, this is the kind of 3CC 2-on-1 setup. This 2-on-1 hits around a minute or so later. I say a minute, like 50 seconds later than a regular 2-1-1. But it is a little bit more economic. You do have a faster 3rd CC. It just means that, yeah, you have a little bit more onus on you to deal some damage with these Marines. Here we go. We move on forward. Clear up some creep, but we don't really do too much from here. This is, of course, delaying your tank production as well. There we go. 2 more Raxes being thrown down. Tank is on the way. And yeah, TerraN, he can't really do too much here. Like, because this is later, Ukko has plenty of Queens, he has plenty of Lings, he's got some Banelings on the way as well. No Evo Chambers yet. There we go, 2 Evo Chambers being thrown down as we speak. So Ukko, he's macroing up quite well as a response. Is going to be able to have a relatively easy time dealing with this drop. Like, shouldn't really be losing too much, just some creep here and there, which is immediately going to be respread. And we're going to be getting into a standard game from here. Thankfully, Biotank up against the Ling Bane of Ukko. He does have his lair on the way, and I'm curious if he's going to be staying on Ling Bane until Hive, or if he intends to tech up and try to mix in some Hydras or some Mutas. But we have our answer. There it is. We have a Macro Hatch and an Infestation Pit. So straight up, Ling Bane into potentially Ultra or just Ultra Viper as well. So because of this, Ukko is going to have very limited anti-air. His anti-air is heavily reliant on these Queens, and only his Queens. It means that he's vulnerable to drop play, so he can be pulled apart here if TerraN was to flex his multitasking and go for all these drops, just because we don't have access to Hydras or Mutas or Corruptors or any of our standard anti-air here, just pure Ling Bane Queen. Or Ling Bane and the Queens from the early game. And these Queens, they're not really going to be replaced if they do go down, but here we go. TerraN is going to be pushing in towards the 3rd base. Not really too much creep to speak of here. We do have plenty of Ling Bane, but Baneling's speed is honestly a little bit late here from Ukko. At the same time, we do have a Ling run by. A lot of SCVs are going to be going down. I say a lot. 3 SCVs. Reinforcements are going to be able to clean this up. And nice reactions from TerraN. He does minimize his losses. Meanwhile, the tanks are slowly sieging forward. TerraN did knock down these rocks as well, so there's no flank potential for Ukko. This base is under threat. But Ukko is biding his time, waiting for Baneling's speed to finish, and it will finish in 3 seconds. And once Baneling's speed is done, Ukko can push on forward. He's going to be losing some of his Queens. Oh, and yeah, it is brutal to lose these Queens, but here we go. The Banelings, they're threatening to push on in, kind of juking and trying to fake his opponent out, but there we go. He commits. He does roll on forward. Ling's coming from behind as well. We do have a hot pickup, but the tanks have been dealt with. Ugh. Not the most ideal detonations with those Banelings, though. Nice control from TerraN to be able to pick up, pull back. The Marines move on forward once again. How good is the target firing? He's rallying everything across the map. He's trying to get on top of these Banelings. Oh, is it going to be enough to break here? And it looks like he gets half of the Banelings, but only half, and now he's deep on creep. TerraN is looking a little bit vulnerable here. Yeah, he unsieges. He has to get the hell out of here. Can he save the tank? Oh, the Medivacs were a little bit too late. The tank goes down here. Ukko barely holds. He doesn't just hold, he's going for a Ling Bane counterattack. Once again, nice reaction from TerraN. He does pull back in time. Couple of Deepers are here on fire, but he is able to hold on. And Ukko, I assumed it was going to be Ling Bane into Hive to go into faster Ultras and Vipers, but no, there's a stepping stone here. Ukko is being safe, he's not being that greedy, and he's going into Ling Bane Infestor first, and then Hive. And this is a safer way to play. It does slow down your Hive, obviously, and it slows down the rest of your tech, but infestors do pair quite well with this. With your fungals, they also can lock down some medevacs. You know, we do have a little bit of added extra support here for that anti-air if we do have drop play. Of course, the downside is that these infestors are quite vulnerable and you are investing quite a lot into them. You're hoping to get some value out of this. And as we, you know, round out our Lingbane infestor, as we don't really lose too many drones at all, like great defense from Ukko, he doesn't lose any of his economy, he is going into Hydras. So this hive isn't going to be for ultras. This tells us that he's going to be looking to potentially go straight into lurkers. We'll see what Ukko decides to invest in. We'll see where he goes with this as the Hydra Den is done. No lurker den yet to speak of. 2-2s on the horizon. Now that the hive is done, we should be seeing adrenal glands momentarily. Oh, and there's the Ultra Cavern. Okay, so he is going Lingbane Ultra. I shouldn't have second guessed myself. But he does have another tech path available to him if he needs it. He can go into Hydras. He can take into lurkers if he sees an opportunity. Until that moment, though, we do have a couple of drops moving out. This is, you know, relatively late, but the army's out of position, so it looks like at least one of these bases is going to be denied. But Ukko is able to get this southern 5th base up and running, getting it fully saturated. We've droned up to 84. Likewise, oh, that's a kill, not a cancel. Ooh, Ukko a little bit slow to react there. But TerraN, likewise, his SCV count is looking pretty damn good right now. His army is looking insane. We are now maxed out both armies, 200 supply. And TerraN, he's looking to lay siege upon this fresh 5th base. At the same time, we've got a double jump going in towards the natural. Ooh, the infestors weren't there quite in time, but the Lingbane is. Oh, the Banelings, no! Oh, a couple of Banelings are going to be going down. The focus is on the south. Here towards the south as the tanks are slow sieging upon this base. The drop is being forced back, but the drop is still active. We need our infestors. Kindness platings is on the way. The first ultra is in production. We do have a couple more drops coming in towards the 3rd and the main. This 5th is becoming under threat though. Ooh. Yeah, the tanks are in position. The Lings are coming in for a bit of a wraparound, though. They're going to be able to deal with this first couple of tanks. The Marines weren't really here to support in time. Why not? Well, because we saw some more drops coming in towards the northern bases, but they're being cleaned up as well. Ukko's defense has been pretty solid overall, and TerraN hasn't really been able to pressure this hatchery too much. Like, he's been here for quite some time, and he hasn't been able to really make any headway. Tries to move forward once again, does get a couple of tank volleys off on that ultra, but yeah, TerraN, his army is a little bit too split up here. His attention is too split to focus on it. Ooh. Speaking of, the Marines go down here in that northern drop, but here come the reinforcements. TerraN does want to focus here towards the south. He wants to focus on this 5th base. He wants to break it, but he gave Ukko so much time. 2-2 is done. Kindness plating is done. We have more ultras on the way. The rest of his army is rotating over here towards his southern base. Like, Ukko is getting ready for this. Of course, there's still a lot of potential with these fungals. I don't know if TerraN can really break this position. He's gonna try though. He's gonna try. Here we go. We have a fungal on the first medevac, a fungal on these marauders as well. We don't really have too much Lingbane. It's mainly Ling Ultra. Oh, and the fungals are doing a great job at shutting down a lot of this bio, and the position is broken. I do think that TerraN just took too long here. Gave Ukko so much time. Behind this, we do have 2 more CCs. Like, the economic situation for TerraN is looking pretty damn good. Almost too good. TerraN is up to 73 workers. That's fine. 78 workers. For a moment, I thought he had over 90 SCVs. I was like, TY, is that you? Have you returned to us, Papi? Have you returned? So we do have that transition into Ghost to help deal with both the Infestors and the Ultras. Hydra upgrades are on the way, so a Hydra switch could be imminent. If Ukko sees fit. Is looking to double expand from this position. Again, his drone count was left pretty untouched. TerraN slowly going to be taking his 5th base here, utilizing one of these orbitals. Unfortunately, it won't be a planetary, so his 5th is going to be a little bit exposed, but he's just hunkering down here. There we go. 2 more CCs being thrown now. We have turrets, we have sensor towers. TerraN is turtling up. But before the turtle can really just hunker down in its shell, Ukko wants to break him. He wants to stop this from happening. Here we go. He's pushing on forward. He does get a kill, not a cancel on that CC. The tanks are not where they need to be either. We do have some EMPs. They do connect with the infestors, but the fungals, they're too damn good. The ultras are rolling on forward as well. The splits are not going to be good enough. The ghosts don't get any of their snipes off. And Ukko is breaking the defensive line of TerraN just before he really gets the wall up. Again, if Ukko waited a little bit too long, we would have had some planetaries. We would have had some towers as well. And Ukko is looking to just take this game. Again, great defensive play earlier. You could argue that maybe TerraN should have had a little bit more, I don't know, just a little bit more perseverance overall. Just a little bit more pressure on him to get some damage done, right? Like, he was just kind of chilling outside the 5th for so long. It felt like over a minute. And a minute in StarCraft time is an eternity. Microbial Shroud, I guess it helps against the lib. GG gets called, and Ukko will take game number 1. Oh, GG. But that was cool. A little bit back and forth here overall. TerraN with his tank push was honestly looking quite terrifying when he was trying to break the 3rd base of Ukko, and even that push towards the south at the 5th was looking scary. But overall, Ukko was able to persevere. He was able to defend in the end. And he takes the first game. Oh, yo, we can actually show that to you. Oh, let's go. Let's go, puppy. Oh boy, GG, well played. Not the easiest of times here for Ukko. The easiest games had, but yeah, really solid play overall to go into the infestors the way that he did. Like, the fungals really did impact that game. They were able to lock down a lot of the drops. They were able to lock down a lot of the army as well. Very well handled there from Ukko. What's the word that I'm thinking of? Felt like Ukko needed to be a little bit more blank. It's still early here in the morning. We're still waking up, Papi. We're still waking up. Alright, so here we go. We are now loading into game numero 2. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have the American Zerg player representing Apprentice Esports, currently up 1-0 in this best of 3 series. It is Ukko. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have his opponent. We have the Brazilian TerraN, currently teamless. The red TerraN. Beautiful. But yeah, it was really cool to see TerraN whip out the 3cc 2-on-1, and what that tells me, this is a build that's been popping up a little bit more and more in recent time. I want to say in the last 6 months, maybe even less than that, maybe the last 4 months, maybe even less than that. But yeah, because of that, I want to say that TerraN, I was really curious as to how active he's been recently, if he's been watching a lot of StarCraft, if he's been practicing a lot of StarCraft. And his opener last game tells me, at least, that he has been keeping up with the meta. He has been watching, some Korean StarCraft specifically, and it's really cool to see him kind of put that into action here. It didn't work out for him in the end, but it was pretty damn close. I'm really excited to see more of him. Meanwhile, Ukko once again goes for an early pool, this time for a pool gas hatch opening. Of course, last game he went for a gas first. Now it's going to be a pool first. So just going to be mixing up the openers a little bit. We have 6 lings on the way already. This is going to delay his ling speed compared to the last game. But I'm really curious as to whether or not we're going to go for roaches here. We may not even go for ling speed, as the first lings are rushing across the map. Oh, meanwhile, TerraN is going for a reactor first, not a marine and not a reaper. So a bit of a greedy opener here from TerraN. He also does an SCV scout, so TerraN is in the dark here. He's hoping that because Ukko went for an aggressive opener in game 1, he's going to go for an economic opener in game 2. He gambled a little bit, he gambled wrong, and the Lings are about to show up here to delay this third CC, and they can go into the main base. Oh, Deeper though is raised in time. We do have a bit of a delay. Oh my god, a lot of boys being pulled here to make sure that the CC is going to be built, and Ukko, he just leaves, he just backs off with his Lings. Meanwhile, I don't know if you noticed, but TerraN, he's going for a 3 racks follow-up. Oh boy, and this hits hard. This hits at around the same time as a 2-1-1, so I want to say at around the 5-minute mark, maybe just slightly earlier, like between 4 minutes, 30 seconds, and 5 minutes. But we're getting into this pretty damn quickly here just because of the faster reactor, so we're going to have a lot more Marines to work with. This is going to be hitting with Stim as well. There are those tech labs on the way. And you can transition out of this, but the transition is a little bit more difficult just because you are going to be delaying your factory, you're going to be delaying your starport. You are only going to be moving out with these Marines. So yeah, we'll see. Oh my god, this is a different variant. This is a 3 racks with +1. Oh boy. This is gonna be hitting a lot harder here from TerraN, and Ukko needs to realize what's going on. He has seen the Marine count, so he knows it's not a 1-1-1 at least, but with the Marine count that was shown, this could still be a 2-1-1. That's the thing. So Ukko doesn't have confirmation yet. We do see a pretty standard follow-up from this point, is going for his 3rd hatchery off of that pool first. Because of the pool first as well, his drone count is a little bit lower than what we would expect, but he's just droning his heart out as best he can right now. Spreading that creep, working on those queens. And interestingly enough, Ukko does have an overlord here at the natural, but he hasn't gone in yet, so he's not fully aware of what's going on. The Marine count getting higher and higher, and soon we are going to be moving out. Stim and combat shield is going to be done in a couple of seconds. Ideally, TerraN moves out now, and by the 5-minute mark, he is going to be hitting with these upgrades. But I guess we're waiting for +1, and that's going to take a little bit longer. So again, like, we do see TerraN's own variation on this 3 racks. I say TerraN, I'm sure this has been done before. We do have that factory as a follow-up, so we are transitioning behind this, but here we go. The Marines are moving out across the map. Ukko is getting ready back at home. He's making nothing but Lings. He's cutting drones here at 51. Very good drone count to stop at, and we'll see how good the defense is going to be. Baneling Nest is on the way as well. I don't think we're going to have any Banelings for the defense, just pure Ling Queen. It's going to be about the positioning here. It looks like Ukko is getting ready for a surround, but the Marines are moving in towards the right-hand side of the map. Looking for another angle here, but we're taking our time and we're giving Ukko more opportunity to make more Lings and make more Banelings. Here we go, the Marines have revealed themselves. They're going to push on forward here. We want to be very conservative with our Stim. Unlike a 2-on-1, there are no medevacs with this. He scans, he sees the queens, and he respects it. He backs off. I love it. I love it here. TerraN, he recognizes the defensive position here of Ukko. He sees how many queens there are. He can imagine how many Lings there are. And he is going to back off. He doesn't want to throw away all of these Marines. He's going to be looking to take a 3rd base and transition. So, obviously, this puts TerraN in a really kind of bad position because this opener delays so much and it's designed to deal damage. Like, he's gonna eventually get a 3rd base, but like, ideally you want to do something with these Marines. Like, look at the creep thread right now. Because there are no Hellions, because there are no drops, it's really difficult to keep this in check, and TerraN knows that, so he's gonna rotate all the way around to the other side of the map, and he's gonna clean up as many of these tumors as he can. Meanwhile, I love this. He comes in with a bit of a Marine hit squad. Ooh, does get cleaned up though. He was trying to distract the Ling Bane with his main force and come in with a harassing run by. Marines don't do too much though, and TerraN is forced back home. Oh. And yeah, from here, From here, TerraN, he's just gonna, you know, try to get back into this. Right, there we go. Our medevacs are coming out, so now we can be a little bit more active. The tank count is commencing here as well. We're working on our working on our armory. We're getting into 1-1, second NG bay. But again, Ukko has a lot of freedom right now. He has freedom to drone, freedom to spread his creep. That's exactly what he's been doing. We already have a macro hatch, 1-1 on the way, infestation bit as well. This is the exact same setup from Ukko, looking to go Ling Bane into Hive. I'm curious if he's also going to invest into infestors again. And here we go, TerraN just rotating towards the southern portion of the map. With this drop, he's going to be able to be a little bit more active and clear out some of this creep. He's even going to be threatening the mineral line here. Oh, does target down some of these drones. Very nicely done. 4 drones do go down. Oh, but we need that hot... Oh, God! We do have a hot pickup. Those medevacs do get quite a lot of damage done to them, though. Oh, great target firing from those queens, as TerraN is going to be rotating in towards the main base, but Ukko is getting ready for that. His Lings are already in position. And behind this, we have Pathogen Glands. It looks like, once again, Ukko is going to be going Lingbane Infestor into Ultra, just like Game 1. And I think he's going to have an easier time on Ancient Cistern, just because this map is so much larger. It can be so much more difficult for TerraN to try and push into these bases, and so much easier for Ukko to go for these run-bys and get these surrounds. So I do think this makes plenty of sense on Ancient Cistern. Meanwhile, a bit of a baneling run by. Oh my god, it's running into the army. Not the best trade here from Ukko, losing a lot of banelings there. Here we go, TerraN is going to be pushing on forward. The creep was being receded earlier. The tanks are getting into position. Do we have many banelings? That's the question. We do have a couple of banelings being morphed in. Yeah, we should have plenty to deal with this. Lings come in to catch the reinforcements, but the reinforcements are too much to be dealt with. At the same time, we have a double drop here towards the south. The queen goes down. The drones are under threat. The Lingbane's pushing on forward. How good are the splits? Oh, the splits are pretty damn good. The tanks are already in position as well. Looks like the 4th base is going to be going down. And this is the power here of this opener. Even though, like, because TerraN was so conservative with his Marines earlier, look at the Marine count. Look at how large his army is right now. Just looking to go for a later timing instead. Oh, it does take a couple of banelings to the face. Infestors are on the way. We do see Ukko trying to go for a run by, but we have reinforcements back at home. TerraN is ready for this. Oof. Ay, ay, ay. Here we go. Behind this, we do have a 4th CC on the way. We do have at least 1 gas taken at the 3rd base, but here we go. The Lings are trying to break this. I just don't think there's enough. Oh, God! The splits weren't there. A lot of really good baneling connections, but despite that, there's just still too much Marine tank. The reinforcements are coming across. The fungal, though! The fungal finally does connect. Oh. Only a handful of Marines remain, but we have those reinforcements. TerraN is rushing across the map. He doesn't want to let Ukko breathe. He doesn't want to give him the time to be able to stabilize here. The banelings are rolling on forward. Once again, decent connections overall, but decent is not good enough. GG gets called, and TerraN will take game number 2. We have ourselves a series. We have an ace match. Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. Oh. I love Sugar in the chat. Shows up with Marines, refuses to elaborate, leaves. You love to see it, Pop. You love to see it. Yo, I see some of the NA boys showing up in the chat. Whiner of Balance. I went to work, came back, and Light is still casting. Ah! And I'm still gonna be casting, Papi. When the weekend is still young, Papi. It's still young. Oh. Here we go. We're going to be getting into game number 3. I'm curious what the map is going to be. Again, I'm really happy to see TerraN just mix up those builds. You know, we've had 3 CC 2-on-1. We've had a 3 Rax opener as well. What will he have in store for us in game number 3? Likewise, Ukko has also been going for some pretty aggressive openers. Went for a gas first in game 1, pool first in game 2. He really likes to assert himself early on in ZvT to just have some momentum and have a little bit of impact in that early game to make sure that the TerraN player can't really have their way with him. So it's a really good way to assert yourself. I'm curious if that's just how he opens up in ZvT. That may just be his go-to. Alright, and here we go. Looks like the map has been set, and we are going to be loading in to Gresvan. Oh my, Gresvan is going to be the map of choice. And, yeah, we'll see how this goes here. Again, it's hard to predict just because these players have been so diverse with their builds, with their openers. I mean, like, I say builds. Ukko more diverse with his opener, same overall game plan. But I can't say the same for the TerraN, as spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gresvan, we have the American Zerg player representing Apprentice Esports. It is Ukko. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gresvan, we have his opponent, the Brazilian TerraN player. It is TerraN. Oh. Vámonos, papi, vámonos. It all comes down to this. And Ukko making some drones. Oh, he's going hatch first? He's crazy. Oh my god. For the first time this series, Ukko is gonna be going for hatch first. You love to see it. Ay. None of this gas first, none of this pool first. Economic opener here from Ukko. Meanwhile, across the map, TerraN, I mean, he's been skipping his SCV scouts the entire series, and I imagine he's going to be doing it again. And he's been having a really good response to the early Ling aggression. I do think that this is a wise choice from Ukko, just because his Lings in the early game typically just haven't been really doing too much damage. They haven't been doing too much to slow down TerraN. So I do like this adaptation from our Zerg player. Oh! Wow, but you know what? Ukko wins out on the mind games. We do see TerraN, despite the fact that he has been avoiding the SCV scout every single game this series, in the ace match, he's going to be going for the rack scout. And I'm sure he's going to be a little bit disappointed, because for the first time, he's going to show up and he's going to see a hatch first. He's going to be like, why the hell did I come across the map? God damn it. So Ukko winning out on the mind games a little bit here. You love it to see it. TerraN as well, going Reaper first as well. Going to be sending it across the map to see what damage he can get done as we get into this series. Ay. And this is pretty important as well. TerraN just confirming that there is a third hatchery. No 2-base all in or anything like that. He dips into the main, confirms that all the drones have been pulled out of that gas geyser. No early Roach Warren. And, almost gets a kill on the first drone as well. Very fast spore there from Ukko. You love to see it. Very nice reaction overall. We'll lose the Ling, but it's okay. We can afford to lose Lings. Lose second Ling. Still okay. Behind this, we do see a 3cc opener as well. Looks to be 111 3cc. Reaper dips into the natural, once again confirming no additional gases, even gets out of there as well. So great scouting from TerraN here in the early game, and I was going to say maybe I spoke too soon. We did see a 3cc 211 earlier, but no, this is going to be a 3cc starport build instead. So very economic and as standard can get from TerraN. So as diverse as the series has been, overall game 3 is the most normal game of the 3. Oof. So yeah, we're getting the add-on swap. It looks like it's going to be a 3cc Banshee. We'll see if he commits to the Banshee or if he goes for something a little bit different. He can go cloakless if he so chooses as well. As we have that add-on swap for that tech lab. Back at home, Ukko's just chilling, just droning, just trying to keep up with these Hellions, and there aren't too many Hellions to speak of at the moment, so yeah, he can just fend them off. TerraN just looking for some stray creep tumors here and there that he can maybe pick off. Oh, he's going for it! Ooh. We'll get one tumor. There you go. I know, it's crazy. Back at home, Cloak is on the way. We have that Banshee that we were talking about. Again, everything is looking pretty normal here. And it's kind of interesting because we have a normal game, a normal setup, despite the map. Gressvan can be quite chaotic just because of the base layout overall that we've seen. We have seen quite a lot of games kind of transpire here where things can get really chaotic. The base is exposed, you know, there are so many different attack paths as well, so many angles of attack. It's been honestly leading to some really, really great series and really great games. Speaking of, Ukko is doing something different. I was talking about how standard everything has been, and so far it has been, but there's no Baneling Nest, no Evo Chambers. Ukko is going for a very fast lair here. And I'm curious if he's still going to throw down a Baneling Nest. He could throw it down now, and this could be lined up for Baneling Speed, just for like a safe opener. But so far there is no nest, so I wonder what this tech is going to be used for. We only have 2 gases. We don't have a 3rd and 4th gas yet, but if we see it soon, this could be for fast mutants. As the lair is done, there we go. 2 more gases are being taken here by Ukko. But no, it's just a standard setup. There's that Baneling Nest, and there are the 2 Evo Chambers as well. Baneling Nest is a little bit late. Usually you line up the Baneling Nest with the lair so you can start Baneling Speed as soon as possible. But instead it looks like we are prioritizing our scouting. Overseers are going to be on the way. Standard setup from Ukko. We have that 4th hatchery as well. Nothing too crazy to speak of. Hellions just going to be clearing out these tumors in the middle of the map, doing a great job at keeping the creep in check. As the Banshees finally do reveal themselves, interestingly enough, they have Cloak and they don't go for any drone damage. They could have if they wanted to, but I guess there are queens all over the place, and Ukko does enjoy making a lot of queens. Instead, he goes for the 4th hatchery here, and he gets a lot of damage done on it. This may come into play later on. At the same time, Hellions try to dip on in, but oh, they are being surrounded and dealt with by these Lings. Ay, ay, ay. Hellions are being cleaned up. Meanwhile, the Banshees and the Overseer are in position. The Banshees are forced all the way out of here. The defense from Ukko has been beautiful. He shuts down the Hellions, he fends off the Banshees. This hatchery is looking a little bit low, to be fair, and this could be a target later on, but it may also just never come into play. As Ukko is getting an infestation bit behind this, so yeah, just really greedy setup overall from Ukko, relying so much on Ling Queen to defend. Delays his Banelings, delays his upgrades as well for a stronger economy, and now Ukko has been able to drone up to 80. He's got 79 workers. Like, his economy is looking beautiful right now. Meanwhile, TerraN is sneaking out with this double drop, with 1-1, with stim, with combat shields in a couple of seconds. Ukko was a bit out of position here, and this drop is getting damage done. 4 drones already, and some Lings, and a gas geyser. Very nice. TerraN doesn't lose a single thing here. At the same time, that does trigger a counterattack, but we have reinforcements here at the 3rd base. TerraN is perfectly fine back at home. The Banshees are still alive as well. They still have Cloak, so at any moment they can dip in and try and pick off some units. Once again, Ukko, his bread and butter seems to be Ling Bane Infestor. Pathogen Glands is on the way, as well as that Hive. Oh, this is about to be spotted, by the way. There we go. The infestation pit is seen researching. The Hive is also seen researching as well. So TerraN is fully aware of the composition of choice from Ukko. He knows that he's doing the same thing that he has been doing this entire series. And we were talking about this weakened hatchery. TerraN is about to rock up. And this hatchery doesn't have too much HP. The Lingbane is going to try and respond here, but the Banshees are in a great position to try and intercept. Yeah, the hatchery is going to be going down, but the Lingbane rolls on forward here. Ukko is going for a counterattack. Oh, no, no. 3 infestors. Mate, we don't want to morph in here, Papa. We don't want to morph in. We have reinforcements back at home. The Ling run by doesn't really do too much at all. The Banshees do fend off all of those queens. And these 3 infestors are going to go down. Uno más. Por favor. Did I say 3 infestors going down? I meant to say 2. 1 survives. How? It's like finding Nemo, Smurge, where all of his eggs, all of his brothers and sisters have died, but the 1 infestor survives. Oh, meanwhile, a stray tank here is being caught out. Nice trades from Ukko in the middle of the map. Meanwhile, we have a double drop being sent over towards the fresh mining 4th base, but Ukko is keeping up with the drop play. TerraN has to be careful not to overextend. He killed the hatchery. He killed some infestors. Really good trade so far from TerraN. He has some momentum, but oh god, he has to be careful not to throw all of that away, because Ukko now has a large enough army to deal with this. We do have a drop in towards the main base. We do have the army rotating over towards the northern portion of the map, but there's so much Lingbane waiting for him. The tanks are getting in position. We do have a bit of a scan here. The infestors have been revealed, and we have to respect them. Same time, double drop is going to be slipping on in, trying to distract Ukko. Oh, we do have that drop coming into the high ground, and now this space is... Oh god, no, it's under threat! The mineral line is exposed. A lot of drones are going down. We do have a bit of a fungal, but not really the connection we were looking for here. Ukko having a hard time splitting up between his bases. Does defend his main and his 3rd, but he will lose his 4th. And now Ukko once again is knocked down to only 3 hatcheries. And he's just going for a counterattack. He knows that he cannot break this siege line. The defensive position is just too damn good. He goes for a counterattack, but with no banelings. Oh my god, he runs into a wall of marines. TerraN was waiting for the run by. The ultras have arrived. The banelings are rolling on forward. The tanks are bunched up, and it looks like Ukko will clean up this army. But how much longevity does Ukko have? That is the question. He may win this fight, but he needs a 4th. Oh no! Oh, the drones get caught out once again. More drones are going down left and right. No, it's too early. It's not safe. Oh god. 9 drones in total do go down only to these 3 marines. And TerraN is not letting up here. He's pushing on forward once again, clearing up as much creep as possible, just suffocating Ukko. Ukko can still take a good fight. Like, his main army is still very high quality. He's got 5 ultras, he's got infestors. Even being down in supply, he can win a fight on creep with fungals. But there's a lot of conditions for that to happen, right? Like, he needs the most ideal scenario. He's going for a counterattack. He knows that he just can't let TerraN expand. As TerraN is ahead in economy, he's ahead in bases. Oh, the 3 marines are still alive. They get a queen. Ukko shows up, but a planetary is waiting for him. The planetary holds strong. The marines finally go down, but they did their job for their nation, for Brazil. And now TerraN is pushing in once again. Max out 200 to supply. The 4th base goes down once again. And Ukko doesn't engage. His army is slowly getting larger and larger. Again, he can still take one big fight, but Ukko, he needs to snowball from that point. Here we go. He's looking to try and engage. We have a scan. TerraN spots the army. Do we have much at home to defend? We do. Once again, a Ling run by is being set up. We do have a drop here towards the north. No, the queen! The queen's going to go down. And the drones once again. Ooh. TerraN, though he wasn't looking, he will lose that drop. As it looks like he's going to be rotating around. Again, I appreciate this from TerraN. He's never tried to push into the 3rd or the natural. He knows that, like, that's going to be the death of his army because of these infestors. Ukko wants TerraN to push into him. So Ukko is just very conservative with his army movement, just poking and denying the 4th time and time and time again. Speaking of, we do see TerraN's army rotating over towards the northern side of the map. Oh, this drop has been spotted, and Ukko is going to be able to deal with this. His 5th base will not be denied. And Ukko has been able to weather the storm. He's slowly getting his fourth fully operational. He's maxed out. He's been having a hard time, but I feel like this rotation here from TerraN took too long. I feel like he should have already been on top of this hatchery, but he's being a little bit lax here, and this may cost TerraN, but it looks like he's waiting for 3-3. It looks like he wants to wait to hit a timing with 3-3 to take a good fight and actually go toe-to-toe with the Ultras. Wants to go for that kill move. Double drop is being set up in towards the main base. This is spotted by Ukko. He's responding. His army rotating over towards the 5th, but really his 4th is where his attention needs to be. Ukko doesn't really have too much map vision, so he's not fully aware of this. He's trying to anticipate the movement here of TerraN. There we go. We have a Liberator coming in towards the 5th, but the main army comes into the 4th. And the one stray Ultra, it's not going to be enough. Does take out a tank, but the Ultra goes down, and yeah, Ukko knows that he has to evacuate. These Marauders are going to make short work of this hatchery. Ukko was out of position. Didn't see where the army was, where TerraN was going to be moving in. And will lose his 4th once again. Meanwhile, the drop into the wards in the main. Oh, it is getting a lot of damage done. 8 drones is being cleaned up. And TerraN, for the first time, he's committing. He's not just killing the 4th, he wants to try and break in towards the 3rd, but pushing into these Infestors and Ultras is always a difficult thing to do. Up! Here we go. The Fungals are landing. The Ultras are trying to dive on top of these tanks, and it looks like they will. And TerraN is being pushed back. Ugh. Not the wisest of choices to try to push up that ramp into Infestors, into Ultras. Ay. And TerraN drops in supply. His SCV count as well was never that high to begin with. It looks like Ukko is bringing this back. Despite the fact that he's been losing base after base, TerraN has to have been trading efficiently with his army just because its economy isn't really amazing right now. It's not really what it needs to be. Not like this, Papi, not like this. We have ghosts, but now we have a game. Ukko, he can chill. He's taking his 4th, he's taking his 5th, he can take his 6th. He has full map control, and TerraN can't do anything about it. Not right now. Not after what just happened. The tenacity here of Ukko has been pretty insane. He's going for a counterattack here with his army, now with Hydras. Oh, he does see all these ghosts though, and the ghosts are very scary to push into. They have EMPs, they have snipes. We have a drop here towards the south end. Oh, Ukko, it's going to take a while to respond here. He may lose another base. Oh, but we have Infestors! There we go, we have those Fungals. Oh. At the same time, a double drop in towards the main base. Gas Guys is going to be going down. Not too much damage so far. He is giving time for Ukko to respond. Macro Hatch is going to be going down. Oh, never mind. Is saved. And TerraN has been able to remax. He's taking more bases. He is now looking into a longer game here, into a later game. Once again showing up here at this fresh base. Ukko though, he's going to be able to get here in time. He may be able to save this hatchery. There we go. He's going to be committing. Oh, and I don't think there's enough to save. There goes the Fungals! Oh my god, the Fungals are too damn good. TerraN loses almost every single ghost. That is the fight that Ukko was looking for. We have a triple drop towards the south, a double drop in towards the main base. The drop play is great and all, but TerraN lost such an expensive army. And these drops just haven't been doing enough damage. They pick off a couple of drones here and there, a handful of drones when we need more. Oof. TerraN is going to need a long time to rebuild. He's been having a hard time really engaging with these Infestors. He's been having a hard time pre-splitting his army, and yeah, now he's forced to back off. Now, because of this map, we do have a pretty defensive position here overall. He's looking to finally clean up that Ling, by the way. Like, Ukko is slowly just encapsulating the entire map in creep. He's taking control. He's moving on in. He doesn't have too much energy left for Fungals, but he doesn't care. He's going to be rolling in with all these Banelings. He's going to take down the Planetary. Planetary goes down. The CC as well. He's going for the main army. Oh, nice kiting from TerraN, but he did lose a base. Oh, he's going to be forced to re-land these CCs, rebuild these planetaries. TerraN battered and bruised. Nice drop play overall, sure, but I don't know if this is a wise choice, mate. TerraN, he's down in army supply, but he's in the face of Ukko right now. He's poking the bear, and here we go. Ukko is rolling on forward. The Liberators are doing a lot of damage. We do have some EMPs on those infestors. Amazing EMPs, actually. Oh. We lose another ghost. These are losses we can't quite afford. At the same time, the drop is being cleaned up. Efficient trade overall from TerraN, not gonna lie. But I don't know if he can stick around. He's gonna try and reinforce. He's got one ghost left with his army. And here we go. The Hydra's push on forward. The Microbial Shroud to help deal with those Liberators. The tanks get cleaned up, and Ukko, after having a rough mid-game, is excelling here in the late game. Just preserving that ultra count, preserving that infestor count over time. And now getting to the point where his economy is booming. He's remaxing, rebuilding, and TerraN doesn't have much of an economy to speak of. He's at 68 SCVs. And after a pretty intense series, a pretty intense best of 3, it looks like this planetary is being broken once again. We have the Fungals. We did lose all of our Ling Bane and the Ultras, though, to be fair. So Ukko has to be careful to be not to be too wasteful. Up, up. Oh, lose a couple of high energy infestors. 7 more drones go down. TerraN is still in this. He is still fighting his heart out. It is single elimination. 1 life is all you have. CC does burn down. You see another base being taken. Liberators are being set up here. Oh, another Fungal is going to be locking down these Marauders. And it looks like, I don't know if Ukko can really take this fight. Does he have enough Banelings? He takes down the Liberators at least. Oof. Oh boy, and now he's able to establish this forward base as a launch pad for his creep for even site defense if he so wishes. And TerraN is barely holding on, and I love this. Despite the fact that TerraN is barely holding on, we have a double drop here towards the south. Oh, it is being spotted by Ukko. There we go. He responds with his army. He's going to be able to split up and defend. Every scan is so brutal, by the way. Like, we're trying to mule as best we can right now. Like, we don't really have, well, TerraN doesn't really have too much of an economy to speak of, but he does go for the scan. He's distracting Ukko, is keeping Ukko busy while we rebuild the ghost count, rebuild the Liberator count. Don't have any Liberators at all right now, actually. Ugh. But yeah, it's always really cool to see Ukko's use of Microbial Shroud. I don't know how impactful it really is against Liberators. I was gonna say Liberation Zones. But I'm sure Ukko knows best. It's an interaction you don't really see too often, and I think Ukko's the only player that I've ever seen do that. Despite casting, you know, Cyril, Rainer, everyone else, he is the only one. Meanwhile, oh my god, the EMPs are insane! EMPs blanketing every single one of those infestors. Oh. And that's going to slow down Ukko. It takes a while to rebuild that energy, and now TerraN, he's going to be able to solidify these bases. He's going to be able to slowly expand here towards the south. But no, there's a Ling run by! Oh, there's nothing here to defend. SCV's falling left and right. TerraN just doesn't really have the supply to defend these fringe bases right now. Ooh, and he'll be losing a lot of workers. Oh, he does connect with one of those snipes. Oh, and he looks like he wants another, mate. He wants at least the hatchery. We do have another EMP. I don't believe we have enough energy for another Fungal, but you know what? Ukko, he doesn't care. Maybe he should. as TerraN is forced to lift up that southern base. Honestly, a pretty crucial mining base if TerraN can get it up and running. Meanwhile, due to the amazing EMPs, TerraN, he takes down this forward hatchery. Not the most important hatchery, but a hatchery nonetheless. Oh, the double... Oh god, no! TerraN! Papi, hug the dead space. You're not safe. The Hydro, he's out for blood, mate. He wants it. Oh, god. Oh, the Medivacs, they barely managed to survive. You know, here we go, the fungal. Oh my god, the fungal is a juicy. No splits whatsoever. Oh my god, TerraN, he wasn't expecting it. He was in the middle of coming back. He was coming back into this series, in this game, but the fungal was just too damn good. And just like that, one mistake is all that Ukko needs for his opponent to do, and he just dives on in. Overextending a little bit. But Ukko's remaxing. He doesn't care. He may lose this army, but he's got 50 Lings on the way. Hydras as well. Gonna be rebuilding his losses, and... oh my god, if it wasn't for that fungal, TerraN probably would have won that fight. He would have won that engagement. Oh my god. But that was the juiciest fungal imaginable. S to TerraN. He's trying to hold on. Here we go. The Lingbane's rolling on forward here, but there are no tanks, no Widow Mines. The Marine Marauder struggling to deal with the Lingbane. The Hydras are getting on top of this planetary as well. We have a repair, but the repair is not good enough. The planetary goes down. And TerraN, now he's been fueled by copium for the past couple of minutes, but he's been actually like fighting really well, all things considered, and almost coming back. But every single time we see him max out, he just takes a pretty bad engagement, a pretty bad fight. Ukko just masterclass here at picking apart the TerraN army. And I think it's just going to come down to this last engagement. Ukko has remaxed. TerraN does have a pretty strong defensive position here, but not as strong as it once was. No libs, no siege anything, siege tanks, Widow Mines, no ghosts either. Ling Bane Marine is all he can afford. We have another juicy fungal. And the Banelings will find every connection they desire. Oh. And it looks like finally TerraN has been broken after 27 minutes of non-stop action. And it took a little bit for the action to commence. To be fair, it was a relatively stagnant start of the game, relatively passive start of the game. Once the action started, it did not stop. And at times, maybe TerraN needed it to stop it. Oh god, as this forward base has been taken out, TerraN going for a drop towards the south, doing what he can, but Ukko's already here. He's taken every other base on the map. The creep is now touching the bases of TerraN, and we have that mainly run by. Oh my god, do we have a reaction? We do! But it doesn't even matter. The planetary goes down. Oh. GG gets called, and Ukko will take game number 3 and the series 2-1. Oh my god. That was crazy. That was so crazy. There were times when TerraN had such a big lead and he was looking in a dominant position, and then Ukko brought it back, and then TerraN kind of brought it back. The pendulum swung both ways. In the end though, GG, well played. Ukko will take the series and advance on to a qualifying match. And yeah. Congratulations, Ukko will advance on. My condolences to TerraN. TerraN is one of the strongest TerraNs in Latin America, and he deserves to make it through, but he will have to try his luck tomorrow because this is single elimination and he is gone from this qualifier. But there is going to be an open qualifier in the coming days, in less than 24 hours, so he will have another chance. But yeah, GG, well played. Congratulations to Ukko. And we'll take this moment to have a look at what the hell has been happening in the bracket.